Well. Clemson Tiger fans, college football fans, welcome back to another episode of the All In Show right here on Clemson at the Voice of College Football. Thank you so much for joining me. Got a great show planned for you guys tonight. Obviously, going to put a bow on that Syracuse loss this past weekend for the Clemson Tigers. Talk a little bit about changes that we think may be happening in this bye week, and then end it with a little bit of ACC new 9-game schedule talk to wrap it all up before we get to you guys, the comment section at the end. But before we get into tonight's show, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button for us. We are getting ever so close to that 6,000 subscriber mark. So your help with that would be greatly appreciated. Again, this is a live video, so hit that like button. Really helps us out on the live videos. And then last two things, we have channel memberships available. So me and Jordan have started doing some streams, some live streams of the game, some instant reactions, just kind of watch alongs for the games. So if that's something you're interested in, we're going to tend to do that on the members only side of that. So consider becoming a channel member. Click the link below this video that says join, and there will be a couple different options there for you to choose from for the various tiers, and that's just a monthly support of what we do here on Clemson at the Voice of College Football, and get you a little bit of bonus content like the game watch-alongs that we've been doing lately. And then last but certainly not least, we'll have a lot of people in here. We'll have a lot of comments in here. We can't get to every single one of them. So if you want to be sure that your comment and or question is read and responded to during this live episode, go ahead and hit that super chat feature for us. It'll help support the show, and it'll be a way for you to guarantee your comment is responded to during this live episode. And with all of that said, and without further ado, I'm going to bring on my co-host, Jordan Bowman. What's up, brother? How you doing tonight?
I'm better. Things are kind of being put into perspective. Tonight's not going to be a night of ranting and getting upset. I mean, yeah, Saturday was the day for that. Yeah. I woke up this morning with a lot of clarity. Well, I woke up Sunday morning with a lot of clarity, but now, I mean, as we get into the week, it's just going to be very matter of fact about this football team, about this football program. You're 1-3, and this is a situation that I don't expect to get too much better. So I get the thing now is, what do they do about it? What changes do they make? We're going to talk all about that. But I am doing a silent protest. As you can see, I am not wearing a Clemson hat for the first time in a while. This team does not deserve to have me wear a Clemson hat. They will get a random assortment of hats until they win a football game. So that will be at least for 2 weeks. I'm other than that, I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be on the show. And as rough as Saturday was, our post-game show is now the most viewed. I don't know if it's the most viewed video, but it is the most viewed live stream that we've done in the history of the channel. So I want to thank you guys so much. I mean, it wasn't just you guys, but all the people that showed up for that live stream and interacted. We got a ton of likes and comments. So that's one silver lining through all this.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We got to take the wins where we can get them right now, Jordan, because clearly it's not happening on the field for our Clemson Tigers. So thank you guys so much for that support. We had a lot of views of our live stream. We decided to do the second half on the main channel outside of the members only live stream, just to kind of show you guys what it is like. And if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to hit that channel membership so that you can catch a couple other game streams with myself and Jordan as well. So, man, I support your protest. I do have a Clemson hat on, but it is what it is. Maybe I'll switch it up next week.
I didn't run it by you. It was a personal thing. So
yeah, it's all good.
Don't feel
it's
bad.
all good. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. It's been a great week. And although football is not going the way that we wanted it to, we still have the All In Show here. We still have this community that we built, and we still have all these supporters that are going to come out and watch us and hear what we have to say about Clemson football. So that's always a positive that we can take out of it. Quick shout out to the comment section real quick before we get into tonight's show. John Sarian, one of our OGs of the channel, a moderator and a supporter. He is a member of the channel. He is a supporter on a monthly basis. So John Sarian, thank you so much for that. Cheese is Nasty is in here. Thank you so much for being in here. Jonathan Benton is in here. Isaac Smith is in here. Kevin, Taco Gaming 75. How you doing tonight? Author Moss, thank you so much for being in here. He is also a channel member. So shout out to Author for that. And Jeff Against the Machine is in here.
It's a nice
Thanks
name.
for being in here. That's a interesting name. I like it. And I think I hit everybody that's got into the comment section so far. Big John gets in. Thank you for being here, but thank all of you for being in here. We got a great show. Like Mike, another channel member, thank you so much for your support on a monthly basis. We do appreciate it. But Jordan, we got a couple things to get into tonight, and the topics aren't going to all be fun, obviously. But we are where we are as a program right now. We are where we are as a team and a fan base, and it's time to have some more difficult conversations. We've had them on this channel in recent weeks, and we are going to continue to have them. This will not be an episode meant to pile on to Dabo Swinney or the rest of the coaching staff or the players or Clemson as a program. But make no mistake, we will talk about some things that are wrong in our opinion with this program. So I know Clemson's catching a lot of heat out there from the national media all the way to every single college football YouTuber out there. And it's deserved. It is 1,000% deserved. But we're going to kind of take a little bit of a different approach tonight and try to have some perspective on what can be done for this team and the rest of this season. As you guys know, there's no real goals left for this team outside of a couple. They can hit their last two goals on their checklist of the goals that they enter the season with, and that is to win the state by beating South Carolina in the last game of the regular season, and they can win the closer if they so choose. Maybe that's the same game, depending on how the rest of the season goes, Jordan. Yeah. We shall see. But again, we got quite a bit to get into tonight. So Jordan, we're going to go ahead and hop into it and get this started. Obviously, this past weekend did not go Clemson's way. It didn't go how we thought it was going to go. Again, I thought that the 17.5 points that Syracuse was being spotted heading into the game was pie in the sky. I thought it was crazy. I don't know what Vegas was thinking. Yeah. We both picked Clemson to win by 3, and we were still wrong. Yeah. So that shows how off we are on this team still. But as you've had a couple days to kind of digest it and maybe go back and watch parts of it, because I'm pretty sure none of us can stomach to go back and watch the whole game again. What are your kind of thoughts just to kind of put a bow on the Syracuse game? What happened? What is going on with this team? What are you seeing as we're a couple days removed from our third loss of the season? Yeah, that's right. I said third loss in 4 games so far this season. We have yet to beat a Power 4 opponent in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, when you go back and watch the team and watch this tape, I mean, it's a lot of bad. I mean, it's hard to. I said this on Saturday. I mean, it's hard to point to one thing because just so many things are just not going well and things aren't being done correctly. Obviously, the that first drive from the defense was extremely disappointing. I mean, that's about as bad of a first drive I've seen from a Clemson defense like ever. Um, even some of the performances last year, when they gave up the touchdown drives, they made it a little bit more difficult than what that was. I mean, Syracuse got whatever they wanted on that drive, and it was baffling. And that just kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. It just Syracuse, they made all the plays. I mean, we told you guys in the preview that they had a dynamic passing game. They had a good weapons. Steve Angeli was the leader in the leader in college football in passing yards for a reason. But the thing that was just most disappointing was, again, you didn't really have much of a pass rush. You didn't get pressure on the quarterback. You weren't able to disturb him enough. I mean, Steve Angeli at one point in the game, he was almost perfect. And he was at like over 11 yards an attempt. Like, I mean, just explosive play after explosive play. I mean, and his receivers were making big time catches for him. And, your corners were getting caught looking in the backfield, and guys just flat out being out of position, getting beat, picking on, some of your weaker guys in coverage. Ricardo Jones, again, just a guy that seems to be a frequent target for teams in the passing game. He's just not very fast, and that's just not his game. Ashton Hampton has completely regressed from last year. So those those two in particular had rough games. You saw Brandon Strozier get in at times. He did not look very good, despite all the talks about him in fall camp about how much he had grown. Still don't feel like you have good depth there at this point. Shout out Avion Terrell. I mean, I think he's gotten some criticism, but honestly, I think for the most part this season he's largely played well, and he had some really good tape on Saturday actually, and had some really nice moments. But other than that, I mean, you just don't really have much on the back end. That's really that's really just playing lights out, and you couple that with the lack of pass rush and the struggles from the linebacking core. I mean, that's how you get the result you got. And they just kind of jumped on you early, and that set the tone. And we know the woes of this offense. I mean, we can talk about it ad nauseum, but it's just another example of this team just not having any answers on either side of the ball, and everybody seems to be looking at somebody else to go make a play or to make the right play call or to make the right adjustment. It seems like nobody, when you looked at that sideline throughout the game, nobody looked like they had any confidence in what they had prepared to do. And that's very troubling. It just is. And that's a sign of a team that has not been prepared very well, and a team that does not have much belief in what they're doing at this point.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, this game was really over from go. Syracuse came in. They looked like the more physical team. They looked like the team that wanted it more, and they came in and took it to Clemson early. I mean, you mentioned that first drive, 51 rushing yards on that first drive. They literally ran it straight down the defense's throat for the entire first drive. Yep. Steve Angeli only threw 2 passes on that first drive, one of which being a touchdown pass, which was a great catch by the wide receiver.
I think those 2 passes combined for like 37 yards or 40 yards.
So they had a lot of success early. Then they go for the onside kick. Clemson got caught sleeping. It's been reported that they were told prior to going on the field to be on the lookout for an onside kick. Clearly, that message did not get across to some of those guys out there because they retreated far too early. They allowed the room for Syracuse to execute a very good onside kick. And then before you know it, you're down 10-0 before your offense even touches the ball. And although the Clemson offense had some success in this game in the manner of piling up yards, they couldn't punch it in when it mattered. They couldn't score points when it mattered. And everybody knows this is a game of points, right? You have to score points. Nobody cares how many yards you pile up. It's great. Oh, awesome. The offense put up 500 yards of total offense. That's great. How many points you put on the board? And how many points did Syracuse put on the board? So really it's 500 yards of emptiness because you didn't get the job done. And when the defense in the second half gave you multiple opportunities to get yourself back in the game, you could not execute. You let drives stall. I mean, it seemed every time Clemson crossed the 50 or got near the 50, that was about time for the drive to stall, which is how they ended up putting up 500 yards of total offense and not scoring a whole bunch of points. So you just got to finish on offense. It's kind of at a point where it's baffling. It's unacceptable. The play calling at times is head scratching. The personnel decisions at times is head scratching. For instance, that poor clock management. I don't care what they say. It was poor clock management at the end of the first half. You had time to run a play, and for whatever reason, the entire offense just goes off to the sideline like the play clock's not running. End up having to take a timeout, and then you end up having to do a Hail Mary instead of getting 8 to 10 yards and being able to try to kick a field goal and get some points at the end of the half. So poor clock management there. But whatever, right? You end up having to do a Hail Mary. Why are your shortest receivers in the end zone for the Hail Mary? It literally makes no sense. And I know Garrett Riley was asked about it today. And the reporter that asked the question kind of gave him an out about, were you worried about those guys being able to get down there and be in position? And he kind of took that out, that the question kind of gave him, whoever that reporter was. I don't know who it was. But that's complete nonsense. To sit here and pretend like Ian Shefflin and Tristan Smith and whoever can't get down there in time in order for a jump ball in the end zone is crazy. First of all, they only rushed 3 people. Second of all, you got Antonio Williams jumping for a jump ball in the end zone on a Hail Mary. Really? Come on,
barely 6 foot.
Yeah, he's like 5'11".
Yeah,
6 foot at best on his best day. Come on, man. It just makes no sense from personnel standpoint in certain things that they do. One of the other things that's really starting to bother me about this offense, and really Garrett Riley as a play caller and a play designer, is why can we not figure out how to make the tight ends a more featured part of our offense? They literally catch everything that comes their way. Literally everything that comes their way, they catch. Whether it's OPH, whether it's Josh Sapp, whether it's Christian Bentiker, all 3 of them, they literally catch everything that comes their way. You can't say the same for the wide receivers because they got far too many drops at four games into the season.
Yep.
But you can't say that about the tight ends. They catch everything. Circus catches, but somehow we can't call plays for them. And then you see a guy like Tristan Smith get a catch late in the game on the sideline and literally bully half of Syracuse's defense and go get 5 more yards. But he can't get more plays, right? Come on, man. Sometimes it becomes effort. Sometimes you got to play the guys that look like they want it more, regardless of how much they're making in NIL and how much another guy is making in NIL. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard some very troubling things on the Tristan Smith end. Not about him, not about him, but how they've gone about using him and how they treated him when they brought him in. It's very troubling, and it doesn't. it's not a very glowing endorsement for this team and how they treat transfers at this point. If you're going to be like, listen, if you're going to be a serious player in the portal, you got to play the guys you bring in. That's just the reality. I mean, what they've done with the three transfers they've brought it. I mean, yes, Will Helt is a starter for you, and he's played very well, but Jeremiah Alexander barely plays. Tristan Smith, I was just absolutely shocked to see that he actually exists. I mean, if this team is going to want to go get guys when they feel like they need to get guys, you have to play them when you do get them. And it's not like I'm asking you to play scrubs. They have not all three of them have shown themselves to be capable at different points. And they at least look like they care. I haven't seen lack of effort from Will Helt. I haven't seen lack of effort from Jeremiah Alexander. I haven't seen lack of effort from Tristan Smith. Like, they care. They wanted to be here. That's the reason they came to Clemson. I mean, Tristan Smith was your first real transfer, and he can't play, and he can't get on the field. Like, if you thought he was that good and you felt that he could play with the guys you brought in, then play him. And I just said I wasn't going to get in a rant, but this was something that I had talks about, after the game and after the post game show, and it's really bothering me now, because that's just, it's inexcusable. And Garrett Riley said today, it's like, well, we feel like Tristan Smith is really coming along, and he looks really good with the ball in his hands. And I'm like, okay. So are you going to explain why he hasn't been able to get on the field and why you're not?
He's like, I don't want to say it's surprising, but you don't think of a guy with that body type to be that dynamic with the ball in his hands. Like, bro, like, what? Do you hear yourself right now? How do you not know that? Have you not been watching this guy in practice, like, literally all summer, all fall camp? You don't know that he's dynamic with the ball in his hands? You don't know that he's a high-effort guy? You don't know. It took Saturday against Syracuse for a catch and him to show more effort than maybe anybody on that offense all day. That's what it took for you to realize that he could be dynamic with the ball in his hands? Come on, man. Come on. Like, bro, get out of here with that nonsense. That's craziness. That don't make any sense to me. That just shows that you're out of touch with your personnel. You're out of touch with what's going on. You have no idea. You have no clue. This Syracuse game was absolutely. What's the stat for us at home now, Jordan? I know you've said it a few times now.
Yeah, you are what, 3 of 5, or something like that. L's. I can't remember. Okay, so yeah, Syracuse, L, and then not Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech was Troy.
You won.
And then LSU. Troy, you won. LSU, you lost. South Carolina, you lost.
You lost.
Citadel, you won. Louisville, you lost. So, yeah.
You're 2-4.
Yeah.
In your last 6 games at home in Death Valley.
Yeah.
Teams coming to Death Valley used to mean something. It used to mean that you were dang near guaranteed a loss against this Clemson Tiger team. Not anymore. I mean, that's in our own stadium, Jordan. That's in our own stadium. 2-4. The only 2 wins coming against non-power 4 opponents. When are you going to beat a Power 4 opponent in Death Valley? Are we capable of doing that? I don't know. It certainly don't look like it. I mean, this team's down bad, man. They got to figure it out. They got a lot of work to do this bye week. And I'm so thankful that it's a bye week. I'm so thankful we can turn the page on this Syracuse game and we don't have to watch this team play on Saturday. And that's sad to say because I love college football and I love watching Clemson play. But I'm so glad we don't have to watch them play this weekend. I really am.
It's a double-edged sword, though, because at the same time, it's like, yay, it's a bye week, but oh my God, it's a bye week.
Yeah.
And we know the history with this program.
How glad are we going to come out of the bye week
against what might be the worst team in the ACC or the second?
Look here, I'm going to say it right now. If you lose to North Carolina, you may not win another game this year. You're certainly not going to a bowl game.
Yeah.
If you lose to North Carolina, you have a 0% chance of going to a bowl game. I promise you that. They are terrible. As bad as Clemson is, they're worse.
Yeah.
And that's saying something because Clemson's pretty dang bad.
Yeah. Man. But we'll leave that conversation for the UNC preview next week.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and leave that there.
Yeah.
If you guys did not know, some better stories in college football other than Clemson, you can go find over on the Voice of College Football. That is right. We have a website now, the Voice of College Football. You're seeing it right here, vocfb.com. That's vocfb.com. Go check it out over on the website. Again, vocfb.com. There's a ton of stories there. You see the story about Mike Gundy and him getting fired. You see stories about Clemson there. You see stories about different teams there. Our live schedules over there off to the left. Got all of our live shows that are upcoming for the week, not just the Clemson live shows, but all the live shows on the Voice of College Football. It's your one-stop shop for all things Voice of College Football. So go check it out. Let us know what you think of it, and your support there would be greatly appreciated. What changes will Clemson make? We've talked about the Syracuse game. We've talked about the 1-3 start. We've talked about how bad this football team has been through 4 games of the season, with the only win coming against a non-Power 5, Power 4, opponent. But Jordan, we have to be realistic at this point this season. We have to start adjusting expectations. We have to start having realistic conversations about what changes not only will Clemson and Dabo Swinney make during this bye week, but what changes will actually even make sense. What changes can be made during this bye week that will have any, if at all, an effect on this current season as it stands. Jordan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that I'm looking at is, I mean, you have a bye week. This might be as good an opportunity as any. I don't think you're going to fire any coaches. That's just so when we say changes, I'm not even talking about coaching staff changes. I don't think that's realistic at this point in the season. But I could see some demotions. I could see some restructuring of responsibilities. I could see things like that. I think you have to. Play calling, you got to try something different, man. I'm not saying that Garrett Riley shouldn't be involved at all in play calling or anything like that. I don't know if it's going to be a team type of effort. I remember a few years ago when South Carolina had what's his name? Not Scott Satterfield, but the other Satterfield, the one they hated. I can't remember his first name.
I don't know.
Marcus Satterfield. Thank you. I said thank you, but nobody said it. I thanked myself. Yeah, Marcus Satterfield. I remember when things weren't going well for them offensively, and they made some changes in that. Like, I don't know if it was during the bye week, but right before that infamous Tennessee game where Spencer Rattler had a career game and all of that. they did some restructuring of the play calling duties, and it was more of a team type of effort in terms of guys calling plays. I could see Clemson doing something like that. I don't know, and the way things have sounded, that's probably something that they're looking at, and I definitely feel like they're looking at restructuring some play calling responsibilities. I don't know what it's going to look like. So I think that's something you have to do at this point in the season. You just the guy you have doing it right now, it's just not cutting it, and it's not all his fault.
Yeah,
not all his fault, but a lot of it is a situation where you need something different, and I think that's one thing that Clemson really needs to consider doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, some changes that Clemson can make and will make this bye week. I agree that there could be some restructuring. I think there could be a mix-up in some of the rotations that we have, specifically at defensive line, specifically at maybe the receiver position, maybe at offensive line. Just to name a couple different position groups that I think could be shaken up during this bye week as far as how the substitutions happen, when they happen, how often they happen, things like that. And if you listen to Dabo Swinney's kind of media call with the media this past Monday, it usually happens on Sunday, but it happened this past Monday. And I credit the Clemson media for asking him some tough questions during that media call. They asked him directly about Garrett Riley and, whether he was going to be the guy going forward, basically, whether he still trusted him. And I encourage you guys to go listen to it, because if you listen to Dabo's answer, he kind of skirted the question. He did not answer it directly, which if you've been around Clemson for long enough and Dabo Swinney interviews, that should tell you everything you need to know. Garrett Riley is probably under immense pressure right now, not only because of all the noise outside, but from the noise inside, talking about one Dabo Swinney. He is not happy. He is not happy with the play calling. He is not happy with how the offense is operated to this point. He was also asked directly about Cade Klubnik. He was asked whether they considered putting in Chris Vizina at any point in time in the Syracuse game. He said no. He said that Cade Klubnik is the quarterback going forward. But if you also read his comments or listen to his comments, he didn't completely shut the door. He left it open. So I think that's a possibility going forward. If Cade continues to struggle in the way that he is, and specifically talking about this UNC game coming up, let's say the first 2, 3, 4 drives, Cade's just looking much like he has in the first 4 games. I think there's a world in which you could see Chris Vizina run out there and get a series and see if he can make a spark to this team. I truly believe that. And I know Dabo's loyal to a fault, and Cade Klubnik is making probably upwards of $3 million this year, or whatever ridiculous amount he's making. But I'm at a point, and as a Clemson fan and as a YouTube commentator, I don't care how much you're paying these guys in NIL money. I don't care how much Cade's making. I don't care how much Peter Woods is making. I don't care how much TJ Parker's making. I don't care how much Blake Miller's making. I don't care how much Tristan Smith is making, or not Tristan Smith, Tristan Lay is making. I don't care how much any of these dudes are making. If you don't see the effort on tape and they look like they couldn't be bothered by playing with as much effort as they can possibly muster each and every play, then put the next guy in. I don't care if he's less talented. That's where I'm at with this team. Going into this bye week, that's what I want to see. I want to see effort guys played over talent guys. If those guys with all the talent can't show the effort, guess what? Put in the guy that is showing the effort, even if he's less talented. I'm okay with that. I'll lose with those guys. I'd rather lose with those guys than lose with people who are out there looking like maybe they don't care, that maybe they read their press clippings a little too much coming into the season, that maybe they're thinking a little bit too much about the NFL right now and not enough about whether we're going to win games for Clemson football right now. And I know that sounds harsh, and I know some people may disagree with me, but that's just where I'm at. That's where I'm at. That's the changes I want to see. Now, Dabo's not going to fire any coaches. He was asked about that. He's not going to make any staff changes during the season. I do believe Dabo Swinney will be making staff changes at the end of the season. He's not going to fire people midseason. It's just not how he operates. I know there's a lot of people that disagree with it. I know that some people think that he should move on from a couple people just right now, but he's not going to. But I do think this staff will look differently come the end of the season, and I do think people will be held accountable. I'm not on the fire Dabo train. I know there's a large portion, or maybe a small portion, whatever it is. There's a loud portion, at least, of Clemson fans that are on that train right now. I'm not quite there yet. Not that I could never get there, but I'm not quite there yet. And I think part of the emotion that you're seeing from Dabo, both on the field singing the alma mater, both in the post-game interview, is him realizing the tough decisions that are ahead of him and the tough conversations that are ahead of him. That's part of it. Part of it's losing, because nobody likes to lose. And I do think he's an ultimate competitor and he doesn't want to lose. But, I think part of it is that he knows he needs to move on from some people, and it's going to be hard to do. But he's done it before.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes. As far as the team goes and as far as this season goes, I want to see effort guys play. That's where I'm at. I don't care how talented somebody is. If they're not showing effort on the field, again, go watch it from the sideline and watch these guys that are going to play with more heart and more effort, just like Tristan Smith on that catch on the sideline. That's what I want to see. Guys fighting for that tiger paw on the side of their helmet, right? Guys like Will Helt out there just giving it all they got every single play, no matter what. That's what I want to see. And that's not what you're seeing nearly enough from some of your biggest names and some of your most talented players. And that's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, your best player has been a transfer on defense. I mean, it's ironic. There's a lot of jokes that can be made, but I mean, that's really been the reality. I mean, really the only star for you that's really showed up in any capacity has been Will Helt, and Avion Terrell to a degree, and Sammy Brown continues to. I mean, he continues to flash, but like 3 players don't make a defense. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? And those 3 players are great individually, but they can't do it by themselves.
Right?
They just can't. They can't. And frankly, that defensive line, they need to look themselves in the mirror and figure out who they want to be. Because they got piss poor effort, man. I mean, you can't tell me that Georgia Tech's offensive line is that much better than you. You can't tell me that Syracuse offensive line is that much better than you. Like, are you serious right now? How many first-round draft picks you got on that defensive line?
Maybe one.
Coming into the season, it was supposed to be at least 2.
Yeah.
It don't look like you got any. I'm just being honest. And I love the guys. I mean, I think they're immensely talented, but they're not playing like it this season.
No.
And I think that's got to be called out, and you got to be held accountable. And guess what? It's a new age of college football. Back before, we didn't really call out players in the fashion that we do now, but the difference is you're getting paid a whole lot of money to play for Clemson. You're not just getting your scholarship funded, your education funded. You're getting paid a whole lot of money. And that comes with a whole different set of criticism. That's just the fact of the matter. Like it or hate it, it's the truth.
That's the reality. And I don't, it's so tough because, I mean, you always have to wonder. I mean, like, these are the guys that you expected to be your leaders. I mean, you don't. I mean, what example does this type of season set for the guys that you brought in? The freshman class, the younger guys that you're going to be relying on next year. I mean, one of the things that made Clemson so great, and in the playoff years, was because you had so much leadership and so many guys that set the example in those early, the 2011, the 2012, the 2013, the 2014 teams. Like, those were full of dudes. Those were full of guys that cared and set the standard, and set the example for the immensely talented guys underneath them to build on. And they went and did it, and 2 national championships came from it. So, but what does this team? What does this team's younger group of players have to look at? Disappointment.
Lack of effort, and poor play on the field. Poor play. And I know there's been a couple former players that have come out and made statements and things, and I think a lot of them are valid in some of the stuff that they're saying. Where's the dogs at on this team? Now, we can name a few. But some of your biggest, most talented, most hyped players coming into the season, they don't look like dogs, man.
No.
They look disinterested. They look like they're giving half effort. They look like they're going through the motions. I don't understand it. That's on them as players. And you could say coaches need to motivate them, and coaches need to do this, and coaches need to do that. And I agree with that to some point. But at the same time, like, where's your personal pride as a player? Where's your why, right? Like, why do you do this? Where's your why? Because clearly you don't have one. Or if you do, you haven't figured it out yet. I don't know, man. I don't know. They got a lot of work to do. I don't know. I think this team's issues run deep to the point where it cannot be fixed this season. I truly believe that. I don't think this team has the ability to fix itself this season, just being honest. But you got to start working towards the future. If you're this coaching staff, if you're Dabo Swinney, if you're some of the players that are going to be here next year, you got to start working towards the future. This season's gone, but that doesn't mean you roll over and die and you quit, right? Have some personal pride, have some effort, have some give a damn, and go out there and fight and win some football games. Or don't.
But at least look like you care. I mean, that at this point, that's.
I mean, at least show effort.
Serving the result, yeah.
Show effort. Look like you want to win. Because I heard from people that were at the game on Saturday, and they said pregame, it looked like one team wanted to win and one team couldn't care less. I think you can figure out which team was which. I can't speak to that because I wasn't there. But I'm just telling you, people that I've talked to that were at the game. That's what they said. This team doesn't play with any sort of swagger. They don't play with any sort of confidence or effort. for the most part, they look like they're going through the motions. And it's never all or every. So I'm not dunking on all the players or every single player on Clemson's roster. But there's a couple that I'm talking about. I think everybody can figure it out. I don't know, man. We'll see.
Yeah. This is going to be unfair of me to point out, but it was something that I saw that, I just looking back on it, obviously in hindsight, it looks even worse. But, after Clemson's game, miracle comeback against Troy, they were shown obviously the we win, we dance celebration, and they always should release the video of the team dancing in the locker room.
Yeah.
You know what Fran Brown and Syracuse did after their miracle overtime win against UConn?
They ran sprints on the field in front of everybody.
Yeah. If that doesn't tell you the difference in attitude, I mean, listen, it's again, and the reason why it's probably unfair is because this is something they've always done. So even when they were good, they did it. But I think it's just a stark reminder of kind of the difference in attitude that both teams have gone about this season, and the teams you've played have gone about their seasons. Like there is a purpose. It's a very purpose-driven type of thing with Syracuse, with Georgia Tech and Brent Key.
Yeah,
I mean, they knew they didn't play well. I mean, Syracuse knew they played absolutely terrible, and Fran Brown did something to you can call it performative or whatever, but it shows you the mindset of that team. It's like they're striving for perfection, because that's really, I mean, it's not attainable, but that's how you stay on top in this sport. And this team doesn't have that mindset instilled in them, and that's the biggest thing. It's not even just like it's not even just the fact that they dance after wins. That's not a problem. You should enjoy winning. But this team doesn't have the mindset. They don't strive for perfection. I don't see that when I watch this team play. They don't want to be perfect. And that's a problem. Because like I said, you can't be perfect, but that's what you have to work towards.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see this team. I don't see that mindset instilled in them. They're not detail oriented. They don't play with the level of intensity that we thought we were going to get from this group.
Well, I think Eric McLean said it best. It might have been on him and I forget what podcast it was that he was on. I think him and Murray maybe. But he was like, these dudes apparently woke up at 4:00 in the morning all summer to work out early. He's like, you could have slept in and done this. Yeah. Like, why'd you wake up early?
Yeah.
What'd you get up early for? It don't look like you want it at this point. Everything we heard in the offseason has done nothing but not translate on the field this season. Oh, we woke up, we had a workout at 5. We were there at 4. Okay. That sounds good, right? That sounds like a team that wants to win. That sounds like a team that's going in there with something to prove. Have you watched this team through 4 games? Something don't. What do they say, Jordan? The math ain't mathing?
Yeah.
The math ain't mathing, brother.
The math ain't mathing.
2 + 2 is 4. It always has. It always will be. But whatever they got going on ain't working. I don't know if they got up at 4. Now. Maybe that was just pie. Maybe they were just making it up. I don't know. I'm not saying they were. It don't make sense. It does not make sense. Everything we heard about this team in the offseason, everything we heard from the coaching staff, it don't match. And the thing about it, the games don't lie.
No.
Once you line up against competition, you will be exposed if you're not ready. And this team has been nothing but exposed through 4 games. Even the game they won against Troy, they got exposed. You didn't look good. You won that game because they're just that much less talented than you. That's the only reason you won that game. Not because you were better coached, not because you were better prepared, not because you wanted it more, not because any of those things. It was just that big of a talent gap. That's why you won that game. Truth sucks sometimes, man. But here we are.
Here we are. Here we are.
Speaking of places to go, Jordan, I want everybody to head on over to the Voice of College Football shop. That's right. We got merch, everybody. Go check it out over on VOCFB-shop. You got your Clemson apparel over there. Hats, T-shirts, all kinds of different colors. You guys can see it there. All kinds of different colors. You got your orange, your black, your gray, whatever you want. If you want to rep the Voice of College Football Clemson channel, you got polos, different T-shirts, crew necks, in all different colors, all different sizes. And then your coffee cup, your tumbler, and your can cooler or your koozie there as well. So go check it out over on VOCFB-shop and support the show in that way. And we greatly appreciate it, guys. Go head over there and get yourself some merch. It helps support the show, and you get something in return as well. So go check it out. All right, guys, we got 25 people in the live chat right now. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on this Tuesday of a bye week for Clemson. We're almost an hour into the show already, Jordan, so we got to get going, get this last segment done so we can get to the people. So you guys stand by. We got one more segment coming for you guys, and then we are going to turn it over to you guys, the comments section, the live chat section, and see what you guys are talking about, answer and respond to as many comments and questions as we possibly can. The ACC has officially announced a 9-game schedule starting in 2026, Jordan. This is something that we all knew was coming. As soon as the SEC went to a 9-game schedule, we knew the ACC would probably follow suit, not too far behind. They've adopted a similar model to the SEC in the fact that they're going to a 9-game conference schedule and that they require all of their member institutions to play a minimum of 10 Power 4 conference opponents a year. So, Jordan, the real question for this is this a good thing for the ACC? And unfortunately, I think this negatively affects the out-of-conference schedule. Obviously, having to play South Carolina every single year, which I definitely want to continue. That would be 10 Power 4 opponents every single year. So, with that said, Clemson's got a couple scheduling agreements with various teams such as Georgia, Notre Dame, etc. Right? What does it mean for those scheduling agreements? And before we ever truly get started in this Notre Dame scheduling agreement, has it already blown up in our faces?
Yeah, I mean, it is an interesting thing to consider. You know, I hope things don't change, but you know, it's one of those things where if you're Clemson and you're the athletic department and you're the athletic director, if you're, I mean, I don't know what, you know, kind of the, you know, what kind of the solution is, because if you are playing 11 Power 4 games a year, when you include the scheduling agreements you have with other P4 opponents that aren't, South Carolina, I mean, that's really going to ramp up the intensity of the schedule. And theoretically, yeah, I mean, yeah, you'll still have that room for that yearly FCS opponent against an in-state school, but you have to wonder whether or not they'll use it. It definitely creates less scheduling flexibility in the schedule, for non-conference games, and especially where they're placed on the schedule. So, it's something that was probably coming down the pipe, especially when the SEC went ahead and pulled the trigger and made the move. You knew the ACC was going to follow suit because that's what they do. So, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not really sure what Clemson is going to do with regards to their future non-conference opponents. I mean, of course, they have to go to LSU next year. They have the scheduling agreements with Notre Dame. They have a series with Georgia in the late 2020s. I think they have one with Oklahoma too. So there's a lot of things to be answered, questions to be answered in terms of what the future of Clemson's non-conference schedule is, and what it means for kind of the scheduling dynamics that Clemson likes to hold on to, and because they always like to have games fall on certain times of the year, and we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you got to kind of ask yourself, and I know it's crazy because it's just 1 year away. Does that LSU game even happen?
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, I tend to think they wouldn't,
but I think there's a possibility it doesn't happen. And I think both schools may choose to get out of it. For the simple fact that the SEC is going to a 9-game schedule as well. The ACC is going to a 9-game schedule. So at that point, with just the South Carolina game alone, you are already at 10 Power 5 opponents. What benefit do you have to going past 10 Power 5 opponent, which is what Clemson's traditionally has done. Even with the 8-game conference schedule, they play 10 Power 4 opponents a year. Maybe the ACC helps Clemson out and Notre Dame with that scheduling agreement and just makes that a permanent ACC matchup between Clemson and Notre Dame every single year, knowing that Notre Dame has to play, I think, 5 ACC games per season. Maybe Clemson's just one of those reoccurring games every single year, and that continues that scheduling agreement. But I don't know if Clemson's going to go out there and continue to play an LSU or play a Georgia or play a Texas A&M or play an Auburn or play whoever, right? Once you go to 9 conference games plus South Carolina, which is 10 Power 4 opponents. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I think it'll be interesting, but I think there is a possibility that LSU game might not happen next year, which I will not be happy about. I definitely want that game to happen as a fan. But I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to follow. It's going to be interesting to watch. It's certainly all these conferences going to non-conference games is certainly diminishing the amount of non-com crossover that can happen in a season, especially when you talk about teams like Clemson that have a rival that you want to play each and every year that's not in your conference. Because basically that's your non-con game. That's your Power 4 non-con game every year. So you have no ability to kind of, we're going to play Georgia for 2 years, and we're going to play Notre Dame for 2 years, and then we're going to play Texas A&M for 2 years, and then we're going to play LSU for 2 years, and then we're going to play Auburn for 2 years. You don't have that flexibility anymore. And the other conferences are going to be much the same. So I don't know. Like Georgia Georgia, for instance, will be the same. They're going to play Georgia Tech every single year. I think they're going to want to get out of that agreement with Clemson just as much as Clemson's going to want to get out of it with them, which sucks because I love that game. I love the crossover that Clemson likes to do with these big-time non-conference opponents. But it seems that with the addition of the ninth conference game, that's kind of going to go by the wayside for the most part.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, we'll see kind of what happens. That's I definitely don't want to lose those matchups. I
don't either.
Despite Clemson's results on the field this season, I don't want to let that sway me from wanting to see them play, big time programs in the non-conference. I just
right, yeah. This season aside, and this team aside, and the fact that this team will get shellacked by pretty much all those teams we just mentioned, that's not important to me. What's important is Clemson stepping up to big competition, non-conference every single year, and it seems like we're going to be limited in our ability to do that unless we just opt to add an 11th Power 4 game and only have one quote-unquote cupcake game a year. And I don't really see that happening. I don't think they're going to do it.
I tend to agree.
All right, guys, make sure you're checking out the Voice of College Football on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, checking out our website, checking out our merch site, all of the places. Give us a follow on each and every platform you possibly can. Just search VOCFB. Again, just search VOCFB. You will find the Voice of College Football's X page. You will find their Instagram. You will find all the social media pages possible that you can like and subscribe to, and just give us a follow in that way. And then also catch Clemson live on all your favorite audio streaming platforms, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you like to consume your audio streaming services, whenever you like to listen to them, whether you're running, whether you're on a long drive, whatever you're doing. Just search Clemson Live, and all of our video content here on YouTube is on podcast form over on those audio streaming platforms. So give us a rate, review, subscribe over there as well, and we would greatly appreciate that. And then last but certainly not least, like and subscribe, guys. Like I said at the beginning of the video, we are so close to the 6,000 subscriber mark. So your help with that would be greatly appreciated. Hit that like button. It's a live video. Really helps us out. Really gets our video out there to a bigger audience, which is the ultimate goal, to bring more people in to chop it up about Clemson football and college football. And with that said, Jordan, let's go ahead and let's kick it to the comment section and see what the people are talking about.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Let's see. John says the last 6 or 8 games Clemson's been outcoached, including SMU and Texas, just weren't so poor in offense, so pulled out wins on most. Yeah, the preparation. When's the last game that Clemson truly put it on somebody? I guess even Virginia last year. That you gave up a lot of points, but you scored a lot of points. I don't know. Yeah, that's probably the last game the last game against a Power 4 opponent, I should say, where you were truly like dominant. I don't even think against Virginia Tech you played that great. Defensively they played pretty good, but Kyron Drones was injured, and I think Basil Tootin was injured. So that kind of have to asterisk that one a little bit. The offense certainly didn't play well that game. So that Virginia, you haven't really had a complete game since, I guess, Wake Forest last year, if I'm remembering the sequence of games right, because you played that stretch of blowouts between of App State, NC State, Stanford, and then I think it was Wake Forest, right?
Yeah,
and then Virginia. I think Wake Forest. Yeah, I think the Wake Forest game was probably the most complete game. The last complete game you played, where both sides of the ball were pretty good. I mean, that was quite a while ago. Certainly weren't complete against Louisville. You weren't complete against Pitt or Virginia Tech or Pitt. And you certainly weren't complete against South Carolina or SMU or Texas. So I mean, yeah, it's been a long time where you felt like both sides of the ball looked like they were prepared for the moment and prepared for the game. It's saddening. It's been a while since you've seen this team look prepared and ready for the moment. Garnett says, "I'm staying positive. We can still salvage the season. I can't read. I mean, I like the attitude. I mean, theoretically, they could.
Yeah, I mean, you went out. Again, it's still a disappointing season based off of the preseason hype that you came into you came in with. It's still disappointing based off the amount of talent that you had returning to this team, based off of how you thought your quarterback would play, how you thought your front seven would play, and how poor they've played to this point. But yeah, I mean, you rattle off, the rest of the wins, and you end up 9-3 in the regular season. That certainly feels a whole lot better than where we currently sit at 1-3. So again, but there's a lot of football to be played in those next 8 matchups that you have.
Yep.
And I don't know if this team is capable of navigating the next 8 games without another loss. They would have to prove that on the field. I don't trust that.
I got no reason to believe they're doing that. Taco Gaming says, "I'm just worried that the performance this year will start to affect recruiting and obviously how they're treating the transfers. Who would want to transfer in if they're not going to play at all?"
Yeah,
on the recruiting front, I don't. I mean, it's certainly not good. This season hasn't been good for recruiting. I think as far as the guys you have in the class, I mean, I expect you to keep most of them. I mean, I don't see like a mass exodus from Clemson's 2026 recruiting class or anything like that. But can't guarantee no defections, and there's certainly been a couple of guys flirting with other programs. So I mean, at this point, it is what it is. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a situation where like Clemson's entire class just jump ship or something like that, or a mass chunk of their class jump ship. I could be wrong, but that's not the vibe I get. I think most of this class is pretty locked in. It's just a couple of guys I'm keeping an eye on, but yeah, the second part. Absolutely, I'm concerned about with how you've treated your transfers this year, and I mean, if you're especially in a year where you're an off season where you better use the portal a decent bit this off season with how much
you have to. You have to.
Yeah, I don't know why if I'm a prospective if I'm in the portal why would I pick Clemson? They're going to come in there and treat me like I'm a freshman. I'm not going to put up with that. Just not. So especially if I've proven that I can play like on tape, like I'm not going somewhere where I'm basically going to start over. It makes even less sense. So, and this is the frustrating thing. And one thing I guess I didn't give enough thought about during the preseason was just how much Clemson's aversion to portal players would impact how they treated them when they did get here. So, I guess I didn't think about that enough. James Thompson says we already savaged the season. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. We did savage this season.
Let's see. Jeff against the machine saying we need to we exit stage left and get to the group of five. I think that's a little drastic.
What's wrong with that? We're bad. I don't know if we're that bad.
Yeah, we're bad by P4 standards, but I mean, yeah. I just don't think we're G5 yet. Joe says, I think Dabo will go into his bench if he loses another next week or two. I mean, at this point, I don't see why you don't do it now. I don't mean like maybe not empty the bench, but play some of the guys, play a lot of guys at this point because I just there's
why do we need to see another loss before we start switching up personnel?
Yeah,
I mean, if they run out there against North Carolina and do the same thing, I'm trying to tell you, look here. It's all bets are off.
All bets are off.
All bets are off.
Arthur says, with the success of the last decade, I knew it wouldn't last forever, but I'm patient and can wait for a turnaround. After all, I'm a Las Vegas Raiders fan, so I know what being patient is all about. Yes, yeah, y'all been through it. Jeff said, yeah, honestly, I'm really nervous about our team for next year, but most of the experienced guys are gone. Yeah, I mean, that's you gotta think about that. For a second. Katie says, crazy thing is when we've scored 30 points with Garrett Riley, we're undefeated. That is true. Wild but true stat, guys. Yeah, y'all can go look that up. Every time Clemson is under Garrett Riley, every time Clemson has scored 30 points, they've won.
Too bad we don't score 30 points nearly.
We don't score 30 nearly enough. That's the problem. So I mean, as much as the defense, we railed on the defense over the last couple of years, like they're still like playing at a competent level to the point where good offense should win you the game 90% of the time. But we don't have good offense, so you lose a lot more games than you should, even with the defensive struggles. Because I mean, the defensive struggles are relative to their talent level and not necessarily they're just objectively bad. This offense is objectively bad. So, again, it's complementary football too, and all those things. It's a problem. Like Mike says, went back and watched the game. Didn't realize how many times I saw Adam Randall emotional, frustrated with the way a play went, especially if in K's hands. I sympathize with him so much this season. Yeah, I mean he especially at the end of the game when they were trying to claw back. He was ready to. Did he slam his helmet one time? I don't know if he slammed his helmet, but he was close. You could see on his face. I mean, I don't blame him. It's when you're giving all this effort, you're making plays.
Yeah, he's one of those guys I'm not talking about when it comes to effort. He's one of those guys giving everything he's got on that field. And his rushing stats have been great so far this season.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get nearly enough touches, and neither do the rest of the backs. But You know,
3 straight games of 100 yards, man.
Yeah, our offense sucks and it can't stay on the field. But 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, let's pass the ball twice and not hand it off to our 230-pound back that they have not been able to stop all game. Good call. Good call.
Taco Gaming says, I also want to know what are they doing for strength and conditioning, because the O-line and the D-line are getting pushed around like they're on skates.
Facts.
Yeah. I mean, they do. I don't know if it's strength and – I mean, that's always a common, thing. But, when I watch them, it's not – I don't think the players are weak. They just play weak. I don't – I mean, when we talk about guys not giving effort, I mean, it's hard to blame strength and conditioning for that. I mean, that's you can't make them play with the level of intensity that they're expected to. I don't know. Clemson's already reevaluated their strength and conditioning, and they've made changes. And honestly, our players look good, physically. I don't. It's not translated to the field, and I think that's more of a player thing than strength and conditioning. But I could be wrong. But I don't think Clemson's. I don't think that's the problem that I'm looking at.
I don't think it is, but I wouldn't be opposed to a change in that department as well.
I wouldn't rule it out. That's for sure. You never know. See. Raheem says Tristan Smith needs more playing time. Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
He
does.
James Thompson says we get no pressure at all on their quarterback. Also, Woodaz is MIA. Yeah, I mean, he certainly was on Saturday. I mean, it's rough.
Far too often.
John Sarin says lots of guys are giving their all, just not making enough and not perfect either. Hennepin, for example, motors every play, had a bad game Saturday. Yeah, I mean, like you can point to individual players that I think are playing with effort, but I mean, collectively, it's a team of individuals, and not every individual is given the same amount of effort as the others.
Yeah, yeah. For sure, you can name players that are giving it, like Avion Terrell. I think he's given effort every play. Yeah. Ronan Hannafin, I think he's given effort every play. Will Help, I think he's given effort every play. Right, Adam Randall, Tyler Brown. You can name individual players, but the team as a whole is not giving effort.
Right.
And some of your best players are the biggest culprits.
Els King says Garrett Riley was a bad hire. You don't even use what works. I mean, listen, on the Garrett Riley thing, it's easy to, in hindsight, to say that, man, it wasn't a good hire. But I mean, again, like, I don't think everything he does is bad, and I don't think, like, the offensive struggles are just a fact that his scheme can't work or doesn't work. I mean, so yeah,
I want to be careful, even though Garrett Riley to this point has not worked at Clemson, and he may be on his way out. Who knows, right? Who knows what Dabo's going to do at the end of the season? And if he does make that change, I got no problem with it. But let's not pretend like Garrett Riley wasn't like the hottest name in offense when Dabo Swinney made that hire.
Right.
So at the time, it was a great hire. Has it worked to this point? No, not at all. And it's looking worse and worse this season. But But at the time, I mean, who else were you? Who else would you have liked him to hire over, Garrett Riley? Because he was one of, if not the hottest name when it came to offensive coordinators at the time. So, I loved the hire at the time. Right now, I don't know. It's not working right now. It's not working at all. And it may be time to move on. But that's not going to happen mid-season.
All right. Joe says, what about player leadership at Notre Dame? This question came up week 1. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. I mean, this team's leaders, if they truly have them, they haven't all stepped up. And and some of them are just, and the ones, they're not able to bring that out of their teammates either. Like, I mean, it just.
Yeah. They keep talking about player leadership, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
This does not look like, on the field, it doesn't look like a strong player-led team.
Yeah.
Because we've seen strong player-led teams at Clemson before. Yeah. They don't look nothing like this.
Nope.
So if they do got player leadership, it's the wrong kind, because it's not resulting in anything positive on the field.
Yeah, I mean the guys that you would the guys that they have as leaders. I mean, half of them aren't leading by example. I mean, and that's the thing that's the toughest thing to do is I mean, how can you expect other people to follow your example when your example is not the example it should be? I just like how does an offensive line respond if I'm in that offensive line huddle and Blake Miller is screaming at me, even though he just gave up a pressure last play? Like, I mean, how am I supposed to feel any different or kind of have that moment? It's like, all right, no, I need to step it up, because I mean, I'm looking at the guy that's supposed to be our captain, and he's over here getting beat too. So I mean. Why should I give that? Why should I be the one that has to give effort and take responsibility? So I mean, that's the toughest part about being a leader is being able to lead by example, and not just just the words. Because I think this team has a lot of guys that can, they can say something, they can huddle guys together and talk them up, but it's like, well, you're not playing like that either. So I mean, it's right. Yeah, it's a double-headed thing.
Yeah, you can't just talk about it.
You got to be about it. All right.
Yeah, Venables is not getting fired from OU, so that's a pipe dream.
Yeah. Like Mike says, honestly, to your point, TBC, I would definitely want to play more people the rest of the season. I think you need to give CV a lot more snaps if there's any good chance he can be a legit starter for us in 26. And, the fact that CV didn't – they said that they weren't even close to giving going to Chris Vazina on Saturday. I mean,
crazy.
It's not a glowing endorsement of where they feel like he's at, but I don't – maybe I'm reading into that.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I kind of just want to see him for myself.
Yeah.
Let's see what he's got.
I'm intrigued. Yeah, if they want to put it, especially if they want to give him a couple series. Maybe you only have to bench Cade for the game, but give him a couple of series. Let him run the offense. And shoot, if he looks good, maybe you stick with him. But
that's what I'm saying. Like, you go into that North Carolina game, right? And let's say the first 2-3 drives, the offense still looks bad. Why not?
I mean, it's not like he has a red shirt to preserve. You might as well play him.
Why not?
Yeah.
Put him in. See what happens. Maybe he sparks something. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. James asks, why are we running the quarterback when we need 1 yard and our running back is averaging 8 yards a carry?
Because he didn't pitch the ball.
Yeah.
And he should have.
Yeah.
It was on Cade. It was a bad read. Should have pitched the ball to Adam Randall. He didn't.
Yeah, that was probably going to go for at least 10 plus yards, 10,
Yeah.
15 yards if he pitches that. There was nobody on the
Nobody
perimeter to make that play. Uh,
Why do you throw the ball twice on 3rd and short and 4th and short when you need a first down in the worst way and not hand it to your running back that's averaging 8 yards a carry? I don't know. It's mind-boggling sometimes.
yeah,
Some of the stuff that they do is just, it doesn't make any sense.
Let's see. Hamp Redmond says, I bet Jeff Scott could call plays better than Garrett Riley. I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. We ain't never seen Jeff Scott call a play, so
yeah. I mean,
maybe he could, maybe he couldn't.
I mean,
I'm gonna be completely honest, and I've heard a lot of Clemson fans talk about this. I'm not interested in going back.
Yeah.
If Garrett Riley gets fired at the end of this season, I don't want to see Jeff Scott walk through that door. I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
Not to be the play caller. I mean,
not to be the play. Like, he can come coach, sure.
Yeah.
But to be the play caller, not interested. That's just me. Go get somebody proven. Go get somebody with experience, not somebody who's literally never called plays before. And I know he was involved with the offense when Clemson was at its height, and I get all of it. And he produced a bunch of big-time wide receivers. I get it. But to me, that would not be a smart move to bring in somebody who has never called plays before.
Yeah, I mean, after we railed on Dabo for the Brandon Streeter experiment, and
yeah, I mean, it was look, him and Tony Elliott together, like, they brought Clemson to the highest of highs when it comes to offense and national championships and all that. But we got to realize as Clemson fans, that's in the past.
Yeah.
Bringing Jeff Scott back ain't gonna fix nothing. You got to move forward. Jeff Scott's not the answer. It looks like Garrett Riley's not either. So it looks like you're going to have to go find somebody that is the answer. But I don't think a guy, just because, he was a big part of both of Clemson's most recent national championships, I don't think he's the answer just because of that.
TAMU says, who called plays when Jeff Scott was there? Yeah, Tony Elliott was the primary.
Tony Elliott was the play caller. Jeff Scott was the passing game coordinator and wide receivers coach.
And Jeff, like, he had input on plays.
Oh, yeah. He had input on play design
but Tony Elliott was up in the box. Yeah, that was.
I'm not saying he didn't influence any play calls or anything like that. I mean, he may have called a play or two. But for the most part,
he did call some play, but he was not the.
Tony Elliott was the primary play caller. That's all I'm saying. Is we got to stop living in the past with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You got to move forward. You got to go find the next guy. Jeff Scott's not going to come in and magically solve our problems on offense.
Yeah, James says, sad part of this story is we earned every bit of our 1-3 record. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing flukish about any of your losses. There's not like a play you can point to where you're like, man,
honestly,
that was just really unlucky, or we didn't have, or this officiating call didn't go our way. Like, you deserve to lose.
You're lucky to have the one win.
Yeah,
I mean, just let's be real.
Yeah,
you're lucky to have that one win.
Very lucky. So, I mean, it's
you were well on your way in that game to earning a fourth loss.
Yeah. John says, imagine CD does get a shot say a couple of complete series and runs Riley's playbook like a violin. And
oh man,
the uproar.
oh,
If Chris Vezina gets in the game and just goes right down the field,
yeah,
a couple times, dude. I mean, remember when remember the opener against Georgia Tech?
yeah,
It was kind of a struggle fest for like 2.5 quarters, and then Clemson kind of pulled away. And
yes.
but it was the receivers were dropping passes. DJ didn't play all that great, but then you were just flat out better than that Georgia Tech team. That was just not a very good Georgia Tech team. And you put Cade in the game, his first action, and the first play, like they run like a little sprint out type of throw. He throws it on a rope. And he just leads a drive right down the field, a touchdown drive in garbage time right down the field. Like it was just effortless, like every play, like 10, 15 yards per play. And I remember the discourse after that game because especially since we were still kind of feeling the scars from 2021 and that abysmal, offense. And everybody was just like, why isn't he playing? This is QB1.
Yeah.
And that's also one reason why you can't take too much away when something like that happens, because Cade was not ready to play.
He was not.
But he looked good on that drive.
Still not be ready to play.
Yeah. But he's still not ready to play. So at this point, with CV, it's like might as well just give him a shot. Some guys aren't practice guys. They'll look terrible in practice. They'll throw a bunch of interceptions. They'll look like they don't know what to do, but then they just get in the game and everything slows down for them. Some guys are like that. Deshaun was like that in a lot of ways. Deshaun was not a great practice player. It's some guys are like that, especially quarterbacks. I don't think Vince Young was like that either. I don't think Vince Young, if I remember correctly, was a very good practice player, and that's probably why he didn't work out in the NFL. But that's kind of
the Sometimes you just got to give a guy a shot in the game, see what happens.
And I'm not comparing. Hold on, and I'm not saying Chris Vezina is Vince Young or Deshaun Watson. So like,
he's not even
out of context, that sounds crazy. But I'm not making that comparison. I'm just saying, some guys are just not good practice players. So, maybe CV is like, and knowing Chris Vezina's background and how he played in high school, I think that could be a very real possibility that he's just in a practice setting. He's just not going to have the same effectiveness as just when he's in a game and he's letting his football instincts, dictate what he does. Because that's what he did in high school. I mean, he was a gamer, like the true definition of a gamer. So I don't know, but yeah, John, that would be. Oh God, I can't even imagine what the timeline would be like if he came in the game and just slices through UNC's defense and goes right up especially if he hits like a big passing play. Yeah, that would make people very upset.
Would not be good.
Els King said, Dabo needs to go back to a co-coordinator system. 2 heads are better than 1. Maybe. You never know. It depends, but obviously it worked out very well with Tony Elliott and Jeff Scott. But
yeah.
Hamp Redmond says we suck. It's too sad to cry. That's true.
We do suck.
We
suck right now.
We do suck. All right, let's do a couple more, and then we'll get on out of here. Let's see, yeah, Katie says some guys are just gamers. Yeah, I mean that's true. Jeff says CV going to drop 450 on 20 completions and 6
Bro.
Don't let that happen. Dabo, don't let that happen. I would.
The only reason that
him go off, I would pull him from the game. I'm like, I can't.
You can't play anymore.
Yeah.
The only reason that won't happen, well, not the only reason. One of the reasons that won't happen is because he ain't playing.
Yeah, no, he's not playing.
He's not going to play.
Yeah. We're talking about all this, but it's just we're just having a little. We're having fan fiction. That's what we're doing.
That's right. Yeah,
we're writing fan fiction. John Sarian says it's not like Cade's a sophomore. He should be able to take pro coaching and up his game and still do commercials. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like I don't even blame like Cade's like $2.5+ million NIL deal for why he's not playing well. I don't think it's a complacency thing. It's like, oh man, I got my money. I don't have to. It's just he just flat out. He just is not a good processor. Upstairs, it doesn't click for him. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's not this year when even the plays he was making last year he can't even make now.
No.
But yeah, I don't think it's at least especially in his case, I don't think it's like, oh man, we paid him and now he's complacent. I don't think that's what it is. The guy works his butt off. I think he cares, but just mentally just doesn't have it right now. At least right now, I don't have an explanation for it at this point in his career. I mean, with how many snaps and how many starts he has, it's just it hasn't gotten any better, and it's gotten significantly worse now. Yeah, I see some people talking about DJ. Yeah, might be a hot take, but DJ would be playing better than this right now with this team. I genuinely think that. I honestly think he would. And that's crazy to say.
It makes you wonder, like, what is going on with Cade?
Yeah.
And I know people point to the fact, what people love to say is Clemson doesn't develop quarterbacks. Okay, so what was Cade last year then?
Right.
Well, where'd that come from? It's my only question.
I mean, it's
so if he wasn't developing at Clemson, how the hell did last year happen?
Yeah, I mean, with largely the same roster. I mean, it's like the different,
basically the exact same roster.
Yeah. Like we
how's
just
that
like what there's not like the things you see on tape. It's like, okay, I know they're not coaching him to do that. So I mean, what is I don't know what it is. They're not coaching him to hold the ball.
At a certain point, it's on him.
Yeah.
At a certain point, it's on him.
I just, I
get the argument, and it's a popular one about Clemson, about how they don't develop quarterbacks. But one, I don't think that's true. Two, how the hell do you explain what happened to Cade last year if he wasn't developing? What was that?
Like, I don't know what they told him. Like, they're like, don't throw any interceptions. Don't throw the ball. Like, I don't know what it is they could have told him that would, make him play the way he's playing right now, or what they would have coached him to do that would make him play the way he's playing. I know they're like, listen, we can throw stones at Garrett Riley and his shortcomings, but I know he's not coaching Cade to hold on to the football.
No.
And not go through his progressions and lock on to one receiver. He just doesn't have it mentally. I don't know why. Teams are doing it. Listen, it just. I mean, at a certain point.
I hear you, Els King. He said Kay went to a camp last offseason and it paid off. It wasn't Riley. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but he worked with the same quarterback coach this offseason.
Yeah.
Jordan
Sorry,
Palmer.
are you saying Jordan Palmer is the reason Cade regressed?
Right.
But also the reason he progressed?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying is like he went and worked with the same QB coach this offseason.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, it's got to be him. So we're gonna blame Garrett Riley. We're gonna blame Jordan Palmer. We're gonna blame Dabo Sweeney. We're gonna blame. At a certain point, you're the common denominator, and it's on you.
Yep.
You regress because of you. Much like you largely progressed last season because of you. Whatever approach he had to last season was working. Clearly, whatever approach you got to this season ain't working.
Yep.
So. Is it?
I hope that honestly, well, that's crazy to say, but like if that was the case, at least we could point to it, be like, oh, that's it. That makes a lot of sense. We'd have an answer, and we'd have a very clear answer. But I don't think that's the case. But that's a funny. That made me laugh.
That's funny, yeah. Well, at least we know what happened.
Yeah. Kenny says, "What if the entire team regresses?" Yeah, and that's the thing.
They have. So,
yeah.
But I think both things can be true. Yeah. I think the coaching staff is clearly not getting it done, and I think the players are clearly not putting in what is necessary to win football games. I think both things can be true, and I think both groups, if you will, need to be held accountable because it's on both of them. It's not all the coaches and it's not all the players. It's both.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's
like there's got to be a certain level of personal responsibility with the players too. I get the coaches ain't getting it done, and I'm with you guys 1,000%. I think some changes need to be made on this staff in a big way, along with a new approach to NIL and the transfer portal. But I'm not going to sit here and absolve these players of all responsibility and just solely blame it on the coaches either.
Yeah, Big John says number 2 is a head case. He's looking for a shampoo NIL deal.
Trying to get that Trevor Lawrence NIL deal?
Yeah. Some head and shoulders.
Head and shoulders. Pantene Pro V.
Pantene Pro V, yeah. John says Cade definitely plays like he's drinking too much Red Bull. Yeah.
Yeah, he is amped
Cade
up.
does strike me as a Red Bull kid. Like he probably drank it growing up or something.
Yeah.
I bet he had a Red Bull phase. My brother did. I've tried Red Bull like one time. I don't.
Didn't do it for you?
No, it didn't do it for me. Just kind of made me like. It really just made me anxious. I didn't really care for it. I didn't like it. He says, "What if Cade announces a red shirt and transfers tomorrow?" Yeah, that would. Yeah, we're writing fan fiction. IDK Jane says, "I've been sitting back. We both have Clippy, and he might be right." In reference to, yeah, that's weird. Why do y'all both have Clippy as profile pictures? That's funny. I don't know if I've seen that before. Is there like is Clippy back? Like, is he like is that like a?
Yeah.
I don't know. Katie Jones says he definitely has his redshirt year. Yeah, he does, theoretically, I think. Well, no, because no, he played in too many games in 2022 because they hadn't implemented. No, I don't think he has a redshirt year. No, I think he's done. Big. Oh man, we're not going to talk about that. Oh, he says it's the Tylenol. Oh boy, I don't know.
Oh man, going off the rails.
Katie Jones says he appeared in 10 games his first year. Well, then he definitely doesn't have his red shirt. Which I don't think that's right. He didn't. I don't remember seeing him in 10 games in 2022. I know he played against Georgia Tech. I'm trying to think of the games of that season.
Cade?
Yeah, Cade. He played against Georgia Tech. Obviously, the Orange Bowl and in the ACC championship, he played. He played against Notre Dame.
Yep.
And threw a pick. Any other games that he got in that? Oh, and Syracuse.
5.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have. Yeah, no, he burned his red shirt. He definitely burned his red shirt that year.
Yeah, he played in at least 5 games that year.
Yeah, I forget about Syracuse because he came in to hand the ball off, and Will Shipley had to win you that football game. But shout out to Will Shipley.
I was at that game.
Yeah, fun one. Not really, because we were like
not at all. But I was there.
Yeah. Yep. IDK James says, I'm curious. I was at Maritime Academy, so we served together. Oh, that's cool. Y'all might know each other. Who knows? I said I'd do a few more, and we're still going, but I just wanted to read a couple of them. James Thompson says if he sits now after 4 games, he could redshirt. Well, I guess theoretically, yeah.
Yeah, he could. I mean, if Cade wanted to shut it down right now, yeah, he could redshirt this year.
I guess he could. That would be very
transfer and go play somewhere else next year. He could. Yes.
That might be. Yeah. I mean,
that'd be wild, but I mean, theoretically, yes, he could do that if he wanted to. I don't think he will, but.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they're like, we're going with CV next week. Maybe then he shuts it down. I don't know. Kind of like Kelly Bryant.
Yeah. Big John says, clearly we can say he hasn't played this year yet.
It doesn't appear so.
No, it doesn't. Kay Jones says, Will Shipley got a lot of unnecessary hate. Yeah. I mean, it's.
Yeah, he was not. Oddly enough, he caught a lot of flack from a lot of Clemson fans.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's people want it's much easier to latch on the guy that's. I think people. I don't know. I don't know if people just didn't like his attitude or whatever. But he didn't have like an attitude. Like he just was a hyper competitive player. I mean, he's a great dude from everything that I know about him, and
I mean,
I know
I
people
think
that are close. I know people that are very close to him. I mean,
I think maybe he rubbed people the wrong way with some of the ways he went about things. But
yeah,
to your point, I think that was just like his competitive fire coming out
yeah.
at times.
I mean, and he wasn't perfect, but like, God, you don't win some of the games you did over his 3 years without him. It's just a fact. I mean, he flat out won you, almost single handedly some games. Florida State 2021. I was at that football game.
He won you that Syracuse game.
Won you that Syracuse game. I mean,
Believe me, I was
listen.
right there watching it.
Yep.
He single-handedly won that game.
Should have. I mean, he was. Man, it should have been the reason you won South Carolina in 2022, but you stopped giving him the football. He was on pace to have a career day, like over 200 yards rushing.
Yeah, you got a point, Joe Long. This Clemson team could use somebody with that kind of competitive fire right now.
Yeah, I agree. He was one. I mean, listen, Will Shipley was one of the reasons those teams stayed together. I mean that's something that I have on good authority. Like, I mean, he's gonna be one of the more underappreciated players we've had. Is what it is. I get it. There's a lot of frustrations going on at the time with the offense, but Will Shipley was a very good football player, and I guess because he was following he wasn't Travis Etienne. He was held to
a
higher standard. All right. Joe says, yeah, I think people were expecting the world from Shipley. Yeah, kind of what I mean. Like I said, he was following arguably the best running back in school history. It just is what it is. Yeah, glad to see him doing great in the NFL. Yeah, he's on the injury reserve now, but it was he's carved himself out. He had carved himself out a role in that Eagles offense, and that tells you a lot considering how talented that Eagles team is. So I think he's going to have a long career because he's not. I don't think he's going to be he's not a superstar, but he can do a lot of. Gives you a lot of versatility, and I guess that was a super underappreciated part of his game. I mean, yeah, like I said, he wasn't a perfect player. He made mistakes. He fumbled the ball sometimes. He did, but people were frustrated because he wasn't always the most patient. But who would be behind those offensive lines? So, but he was productive. One of the most productive players you've had in the last 5 or 6 years. So. Brandon Flincham says, I do think Spiller has done a great job with Randall, and I think Randall needs a higher workload. I think if there's anything if you're going to criticize CJ Spiller for the running back rotations and the guys behind him not being ready to play, you got to give him. You have to, give credit where credit's due. That Adam Randall does look the part as your top running back.
Yeah,
I mean that's impressive. I mean this is a change he made this season. You got to give him credit for that. Spiller credit for that. So, yeah, I mean that's you got to be fair and like I said, give credit where credit's due. Let that be known just as much as the criticism too. So. All right, I think that's going to do it for us. We've been going at it a long time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's greatly appreciated that you guys are still showing up even during a bye week or during a 1-3 season. It really does mean the world to us. Thank you for so much of the support that we got. on the post-game show last weekend. It obviously wasn't for a good reason, but we'll take it nonetheless. And continue to share this show with your friends, any Clemson or college football fans. Of course, we welcome all fan bases, and we're trying to grow this community. And if you like what we do and you want to support us in a financial way, super chats are available, but also consider becoming a channel member. We are steadily growing our number of channel members, and we do want to build a nice exclusive community, and we want to give you guys some extra perks that the general audience may not be doesn't get access to. Of course, that started with the members only live streams, and we're definitely going to continue to do those. So y'all make sure to join up if that's interesting to you, and we'll have other exclusive content as well. And we greatly appreciate those of you that do already support the show on a monthly basis. I want to shout you guys out real quick. John Sarian, thank you so much for your support. One of our longest tenured members. Well, not longest tenured members, but longest tenured watchers, and recently joined as a member. Let me see where. Oh man, I gotta scroll. Oh boy. Like Mike, thank you so much for becoming a channel member. And where is Arthur? There he is. Arthur, thank you so much for being a channel member. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. But that being said, we will catch you guys next week. Of course, no post-game show, as of course it's a bye week. But we will see you next week for the All-In show. We might do a members only live stream for maybe some of the games on Saturday. We'll see. Obviously the TPC is a softball dad, and those things typically are they can be an all-day affair. So we'll see if we'll be able to do it this weekend. But y'all stay tuned for that announcement. But until then, we will see you next Tuesday for the All-In show. And that's it for me.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Hopefully we could do something on Saturday, figure something out, maybe the late games. I do got a softball tournament on Saturday, so maybe we can do the primetime games on YouTube. If I can make it home in time, we will definitely do that. So stay tuned for the channel for that. But until then, we will see you next Tuesday. Same bat time, same bat channel right here on the All-In show. Until then, I'm TPC. He's Jordan Bowman. Go Tigers.
Later, y'all.